Imagine living in a world where every word you speak, every movement you make, and even every thought inside your mind is being watched. This is the world of 1984, a society ruled not by freedom, but by fear. Massive screens watch citizens day and night. Propaganda covers every wall. And above all stands one message: Big Brother is watching you. In this world, privacy no longer exists, truth no longer exists, only obedience. At the center of this nightmare lives Winston Smith, an ordinary man, quiet, tired, invisible. By day he works for the government. By night he hides alone in his tiny apartment, haunted by thoughts he is not allowed to think, because in this society, independent thinking itself is a crime. And yet, despite the danger, Winston begins writing in a secret notebook, a single act of rebellion, a whisper against an empire of control. But rebellion is almost impossible in Oceania. Every apartment contains a telescreen. Every citizen is monitored constantly. You are watched while eating, watched while sleeping, watched while speaking. Even your facial expressions can betray you. The party calls this safety, but Winston understands the truth. The goal is not protection. The goal is total control. The most dangerous crime in this world is not violence. It is thought. The party fears human individuality more than anything else, because once people begin questioning reality, the system begins to crack. Children are trained to betray their parents. History is rewritten daily. Language itself is simplified. So people lose the ability to express dangerous ideas. Freedom dies slowly here, not through war alone, but through psychological control. Winston works inside the Ministry of Truth, but despite its name, it has nothing to do with truth. His job is to rewrite newspapers, edit old records, and erase inconvenient facts from history. If the party changes its story today, then yesterday must also change, and once the old evidence disappears, the lie becomes reality. The government does not merely control the future, it controls the past. Then Winston meets Julia. At first he fears her. In this world, trust is dangerous, love is dangerous, human connection itself is dangerous. But one day, Julia secretly passes him a note, 3 forbidden words: I love you. And suddenly, for the first time in years, Winston feels hope. Together, Winston and Julia begin a secret relationship, hidden from surveillance. They create small moments of freedom inside a world built on fear. They speak honestly, they laugh, they dream, and for a brief moment, they believe the party cannot control the human soul completely. Their love becomes more than romance. It becomes rebellion, a refusal to surrender their humanity. Eventually, Winston begins believing escape may be possible. He rents a hidden room far from the telescreens, a quiet place where he and Julia can exist freely, or so they think, because in Oceania, freedom itself can be an illusion. The party allows hope to grow, only so it can destroy it completely. And behind the walls of the room, someone is always listening. One night, everything collapses. The hidden room is invaded. Police storm through the doors. Voices scream through hidden speakers. The illusion of safety disappears instantly. Winston and Julia are arrested, not because the party feared rebellion, but because the party cannot tolerate independent love, independent thought, or independent identity. Every form of individuality must be broken. Winston is taken to the Ministry of Love, a place devoted not to compassion, but to suffering. There, he meets O'Brien, a man Winston once believed was secretly resisting the system. But O'Brien reveals the horrifying truth. He was loyal to the party all along, and now his job is not simply to punish Winston. It is to destroy him psychologically, to erase the person he once was. Eventually, Winston is brought to room 101, the worst place in the entire regime, because inside room 101, you face your greatest fear. For Winston, it is rats. Terrified beyond reason, his mind finally breaks, and in that moment, he betrays Julia. The party has achieved its ultimate victory. Not obedience through force alone, but obedience through psychological destruction. When Winston is finally released, he is no longer the same man. The rebellion inside him is gone. The anger is gone. Even love is gone. He sits alone in silence, empty, defeated, emotionally destroyed. The party did not simply control his actions. It conquered his identity itself. At the end of the story, Winston stares at the image of Big Brother, and for the first time, he feels no resistance, no hatred, no rebellion, only acceptance. The system has won completely, not because it killed him, but because it transformed him into someone who could no longer imagine freedom. 1984 is not simply a story about dictatorship. It is a warning about surveillance, about propaganda, about governments that reshape truth itself. George Orwell understood something terrifying. If people lose the ability to question reality, they eventually lose the ability to resist power. And that is why 1984 remains relevant today. Because the scariest prisons are not always made of walls. Sometimes, they are built inside the human mind.